What if the only thing standing between you and everything you've ever wanted was the way you see yourself? Think about that for a moment. Not your talent, not your resources, not your past, just the belief deep inside that you're not enough, that you're not ready, that someone out there is better, more deserving, more capable. That single thought has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. And it's a lie, a quiet, convincing lie whispered by fear and repeated so many times that you started to accept it as truth. But what if, instead of waiting to feel like the best, you started acting like it? Imagine the shift. Imagine waking up and deciding, today, I walk like I belong. I speak like I matter. I move like I've already made it. Not because you're pretending, but because you're finally aligning with who you were born to be. You don't have to wait for the world to crown you. You don't have to wait for approval, applause, or permission. The moment you decide to believe in yourself, everything changes. Your posture, your energy, your decisions, they all begin to rise. This is not about arrogance. This is not about being better than anyone else. It's about being done with shrinking. It's about being tired of apologizing for taking up space, for dreaming big, for wanting more. Confidence isn't ego, it's self-respect. It's waking up every day and saying, I deserve to try, I deserve to grow, I deserve to win. And you do. You always have. When you act like you're the best, you rewire your mind. You create momentum. You start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. And science proves it. What you believe, you become. Your brain will work day and night to prove you right. So choose the belief that pushes you forward, not the one that holds you back. Choose the one that says, I am capable. I am powerful. I am already enough. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly how it will work out. What you need is to decide that you are no longer available for mediocrity, that you are done waiting, that you are done doubting. Because something powerful happens when you start living like the best version of you. The world begins to respond. People treat you differently. You start attracting moments, challenges, and breakthroughs that match your energy. And it starts with one decision, to act like the best. If you stay with me, if you commit to this, something inside you will awaken. A voice that's been buried under fear, silence, and hesitation will rise again. Not because I told you, but because you'll feel it. You'll remember who you are. And once you do, there's no going back. So keep going. Keep watching. Because this isn't just another video. This is the beginning of the version of you the world's been waiting for. And it's time. Most people will never feel what it's like to unlock their full power. Not because they aren't capable, but because they never believed they could. They walk through life waiting for a sign, waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. And while they wait, life moves on without them. The truth is harsh. The world doesn't pause for your doubt. It won't slow down to ask if you're ready. It moves forward with or without you. And if you don't rise, if you don't decide to show up like the best, you get left behind. It's not about being the loudest, the fastest, or even the smartest. It's about being the one who refuses to settle. The one who looks at their reflection and says, I belong here. Because the moment you believe that, everything begins to shift. You stop chasing approval. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop watering down your potential to fit into boxes you were never meant to fit in. You start leading your life instead of reacting to it. Most people settle into roles they never chose. They accept labels they never questioned. They build lives around limitations that were handed to them. And the saddest part, they start to call it normal. But there's nothing normal about watching your potential die in slow motion. There's nothing acceptable about hiding your brilliance just because the world isn't ready. You were never meant to dim your light to fit in. You were meant to rise and lead with it. That's why acting like you're the best isn't a mindset. It's a revolution. It's the moment you decide to break free from the chains of good enough. You stop asking, am I allowed to want more? And start declaring, I was born for more. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You only need your own. And that permission is long overdue. When you carry yourself like the best, something powerful happens. Your energy changes. Your presence shifts. People can feel it, even if they can't explain it. You start showing up differently. You ask for what you're worth. You speak with certainty. You take up space without apology, and the world begins to respond. Doors start opening. Opportunities start appearing. Not because they weren't there before, but because you finally stepped into the version of you that could see them. There will always be people who tell you to stay in your place, to wait your turn, to be realistic. But understand this, realistic dreams create average lives. And you weren't born for average. You were born to rise. You were born to lead. You were born to impact. But that only happens when you stop doubting and start deciding. So don't wait. Don't shrink. Don't pause your power for one more day. Act like you're the best. Speak it. Live it. Own it. Because the life you want isn't waiting on luck. It's waiting on you. Confidence is not a gift. It's a decision. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose to practice, even when every doubt in your mind tells you not to. That's what makes it powerful. Acting like you're the best doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you stop letting fear choose your future. Because if you wait until you feel confident to take action, you'll stay stuck forever. Confidence comes after action, not before. The first step is shaky. The first words might tremble. But that's how strength is built, in motion, not in hesitation. Your mind is always watching you. Every time you stand tall, it takes note. Every time you speak with clarity, it remembers. Every time you decide not to shrink, not to retreat, not to disappear, you are teaching yourself a new truth. I am not the weak one anymore. I am not the one who hides. I am the one who rises, the one who dares, the one who no longer waits to be chosen. Your brain adapts to how you behave. If you walk with power, it starts to believe you are powerful. If you move like the best, it begins to rewrite your identity. You don't need to fake it. You need to commit to it, over and over. And the more you show up, the less resistance you feel. That's the beauty of repetition. That's the secret of growth. You become what you practice, so start practicing greatness. There's a moment that comes when you've had enough of feeling small. When you get tired of watching life pass you by while you sit quietly, waiting for the right time to feel worthy. That moment is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. It's your truth screaming louder than your fear. And when it happens, don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Let it change you. Let it ignite something deeper. Because that fire isn't weakness. It's your inner strength waking up. You're not here to be perfect. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to live boldly, to move with purpose, to speak your vision into existence and back it up with relentless action. You're here to show yourself what you're really made of. And the only way to do that is to start. Today. Not when you're ready, not when it feels easy, now. Because every second you delay, you reinforce the lie that you're not capable. But every second you act, you build the truth that you are. This is not about pretending. It's about remembering. Remembering who you were before fear got loud, before doubt took root, before life convinced you to play it safe. You've always had the fire. Now it's time to feed it. Stand up, speak strong, move forward like you belong, because you do. Act like you're the best, not later, not someday, right now. Because the more you live that truth, the more the world starts to believe it too. You don't become the best by waiting to be noticed. You become the best by deciding you already are. And then you back it up, not with noise, not with arrogance, but with presence, discipline, and action. Every single day, you move like someone with a purpose. You speak like someone who knows their value. You think like someone who is no longer negotiating with self-doubt, because that's what champions do. They don't ask for confidence. They create it. They don't wait for validation. They validate themselves through their choices. When you start carrying yourself like you matter, everything begins to shift. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. That shift is the key, because your life will never rise above the standard you set internally. If you see yourself as average, your results will match. If you speak to yourself with hesitation, your actions will echo that. But when you decide you're done with limits, when you act like the best even before the world sees it, your mind begins to rise, your habits follow, and eventually, your life reflects the power you claimed from within. This is how you break the cycle of almost starting, the cycle of shrinking when it matters, the cycle of telling yourself next time. There is no next time. There is only now. Every day you delay your greatness, you hand power back to fear. But every day you act as if you are the best, you strip that fear of its control. You become the one in command. And that shift isn't subtle, it's a storm. Because confidence doesn't walk into the room asking for permission. It walks in knowing it belongs. You have a choice to make. Keep feeding the narrative that you're not ready, or feed the fire that says you've already arrived. You don't need the world to agree before you move. You need to agree with yourself. When your inner voice starts saying, I can, I will, I must, you're no longer playing small. You're no longer surviving. You're building something bigger than fear. You're building identity. Identity that doesn't crack when things get hard. Identity that doesn't fold when people doubt you. Identity that's built from within. You will be challenged. You will be questioned, but none of that matters if you're already convinced. That's the power of acting as if. It's not pretending. It's aligning. It's becoming the version of yourself you've always sensed was there. buried under years of silence. But now, that version is waking up, and the more you let it speak, the more unstoppable you become. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards belief, backed by action. So act like the best, move like the best, speak like the best. Decide that you are no longer becoming, you already are. And once you decide, never look back. Because the only thing stronger than talent is certainty, and certainty is yours the moment you choose it. Every day you are sending a message to the world about who you are, not through your words, but through your energy, your presence, your decisions. And whether you realize it or not, that message either commands respect or invites doubt. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you carry yourself with uncertainty, hesitation, and smallness, the world reflects that energy right back to you. But when you carry yourself like someone who knows they are the best, you begin to reshape how the world responds. Because confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a signal. It speaks louder than anything you say. That's why the shift must begin within. Not by chasing attention, but by cultivating intention. Not by proving yourself to others, but by proving to yourself that you are done settling for average. You are done waiting for permission, done explaining, justifying, apologizing for your ambition. The moment you declare that you are the best and live in alignment with that declaration, you activate a level of power that most people never tap into. Because most people don't choose it. They think greatness is reserved for the few. But greatness is claimed, not given. It belongs to those who decide they are worthy of it. The way you walk, the way you think, the way you speak, it must all rise to the level of who you say you are. That's how you build unshakable self-belief. You don't wait for it. You don't hope for it. You create it with intention, with repetition, with absolute refusal to go back to the version of you that doubted everything. That version is over. That version doesn't belong here anymore. You've outgrown it. Now, you act like the best because that's who you are committed to being. Not someday. Now, you are not here to compete. You are here to dominate your own standard, to rise above the noise, to build discipline so sharp that excuses can't survive in your space. You're not chasing validation. You're setting the tone. You walk into the room with certainty not because you have something to prove, but because you know exactly who you are. That's the difference between pretending and becoming. Pretending is fragile. Becoming is unbreakable. And when you decide to become, you start to move differently. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what challenges you. You stop waiting for signs and start becoming the signal. You lead yourself, and that leadership becomes magnetic. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real, focused, determined, unapologetically committed to excellence. So rise up. Train your mind to believe what your spirit already knows. You are not made to be average. You are not built to hide. You are designed to lead, to inspire, to become the highest version of yourself. That version is already inside you. Let it out. Let it speak. Let it lead. Act like the best. And never forget, you are. Every limitation you believe about yourself was learned. It was planted by repetition, by rejection, by moments when you didn't feel seen, when you felt small, overlooked, forgotten. But just because you believe something for a long time doesn't make it true. The mind is programmable, and if it can be programmed to doubt, it can be reprogrammed to dominate. You are not stuck. You are conditioned. And the beautiful thing about conditioning is that it can be broken, rewired, reshaped. But only when you stop letting old beliefs define your future. You are not your past. You are your potential. And that potential becomes power the moment you start living as if nothing is beyond you. To act like you are the best means dropping the identity of someone who waits to be ready. Ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to be ready when you decide that fear no longer leads. You stop asking for clarity before you move. You stop seeking guarantees. You stop needing certainty before action. You move, and the path builds itself under your feet. That's what leaders do. They walk forward into the unknown with the mindset that no matter what they face, they'll figure it out. Not because they're fearless, but because they trust themselves more than they trust their fear. Every great move you'll ever make will start with discomfort. It will stretch you. It will challenge your identity. That's not a sign to stop. That's a signal to rise. Growth will always feel unfamiliar, because you're stepping into a version of yourself you haven't fully embodied yet. But when you choose to keep moving through the resistance, that version starts becoming real. You start speaking with more authority. You start showing up with more purpose. You start taking ownership of your presence, your energy, your results. This isn't about pretending you have it all figured out. It's about refusing to be controlled by the version of you that thinks you never will. Doubt will whisper. Insecurity will try to creep in. But the more you keep choosing power over hesitation, the more you silence those voices. They don't disappear, but they lose their grip. And when they lose their grip, you gain freedom. Not freedom from fear, but freedom from paralysis. So stand in front of yourself and choose. Will you continue to carry the weight of a belief that was never yours to begin with? Or will you drop it, walk forward, and rise into the identity you were meant to own? Because once you taste what it feels like to move as the best, to think as the best, to demand the best from yourself and for yourself, you'll never go back. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you really are underneath all the noise. Let that version of you lead now. Don't just believe in yourself. Behave like it, speak like it, move like it. That's where transformation lives. There is a version of you that the world has not met yet. A version untouched by hesitation, unshaken by rejection, unstoppable in pursuit of what's possible. That version lives behind every excuse you've ever made, every fear you've ever listened to, every opportunity you've ever passed up because you didn't feel ready. But here's the truth, readiness isn't real. It's a myth created by comfort. And the longer you wait for it, the more power you hand to your doubts. Acting like you're the best isn't arrogance. It's alignment. It's the decision to live from the highest place within you, even before the world applauds you for it. Your environment doesn't define you. Your past doesn't limit you. The only thing that shapes your life from this point forward is your willingness to rise beyond the noise of your own hesitation. You've been quiet long enough. You've second-guessed yourself enough. You've allowed temporary feelings to control permanent decisions. But you weren't born to be ruled by doubt. You were born to break it. And the way you do that isn't by overthinking. It's by overstepping the lines that fear has drawn around your life. When you begin to act like the best, you're not waiting to feel worthy. You're creating worth through movement, through commitment, through showing up even when it would be easier to disappear. That's what separates the few from the many. Most people live small because small feels safe. But you didn't come here to feel safe. You came here to grow. And growth demands courage. Not once, not sometimes, every day. The kind of courage that says, even if I fall, I rise again. Even if they doubt me, I stay the course. Even if I don't see the results yet, I keep going because I know what I'm building. This mindset changes everything. You stop chasing perfection and start chasing progress. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I never try? That shift cracks something open. It rewrites your internal dialogue. It takes the volume down on fear and turns up the fire of determination. Because when you live like you are the best, you don't entertain excuses. You don't need motivation. You are driven from the inside. And that kind of fire cannot be put out by opinions, delays, or setbacks. Your life changes the moment you stop waiting to feel deserving and start behaving like you already are. The mind follows action. Identity follows repetition. And the more you walk in power, the more natural it becomes. You weren't meant to blend in. You weren't designed to play small. So stop asking for permission to be great. Start owning it. Walk into the room like you're meant to be there. Speak your vision like it's already happening. Move like someone who doesn't fear failure. Because you don't. You're not here to compete. You're here to conquer yourself. That's what the best do. And that's exactly who you are. There is no outside force more powerful than a made-up mind. When you lock into who you've decided to become, distractions lose their grip. Opinions shrink. Noise fades. Everything that once held you back starts to dissolve under the weight of your new identity. And that identity must not be built on circumstances. It must be built on decision. You don't rise because life makes it easy. You rise because you've made it non-negotiable. You're not waiting for ideal conditions. You're not hoping for less resistance. You're showing up with relentless consistency because you've already claimed the outcome. That's the mindset of the best. That's what makes you unstoppable. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are casting a vote for the future you. Every time you reject doubt and step forward anyway, you are proving to your nervous system that fear is not the final voice. This is where transformation lives. Not in the big moments, but in the daily decisions to walk as the best version of you even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because real confidence isn't built when things are easy. It's built when you push through resistance, when you do the work no one sees, when you stay committed to your standard while others settle for average. Average will always try to pull you back. It will speak through your own mind, offering comfort, offering the easy way out. But you didn't come this far to fall for that again. You didn't come here to repeat the same cycle of almost, maybe, and someday. You're here to break through. You're here to act like you are the best, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you finally stopped being less than who you really are. That shift changes your energy. It changes your posture, your presence, your performance. It tells the world without words, I'm no longer available for smallness. When you carry that energy, the world reacts. People feel it. They may not understand it, but they sense something different in you. Certainty. That certainty is magnetic. It pulls opportunities to you. It aligns you with people and places that match your new frequency, and it repels anything that no longer belongs. That's the power of choosing to live from your highest standard. It doesn't just change how you see the world, it changes how the world responds to you. This is where you decide, again and again, to behave like the best, to walk into every challenge with your head high, your heart locked in, and your focus sharp. You don't need applause, you don't need approval. You only need one thing, the commitment to never again betray your potential. The best don't act like the best for praise. They do it because it's who they are. So stand in that identity now, claim it, live it. Because once you do, there is no going back. Only forward, only higher, only full power. You are no longer asking if you're good enough. That question ends here. It ends because you've realized it was never about being good enough. It was about recognizing that you were never meant to doubt yourself in the first place. You were trained to hesitate. You were taught to shrink. You were conditioned to believe that worth is something you earn. But it's not. It's something you own. From the moment you decide to live like the best, every step you take reinforces that truth. Confidence stops being something you chase. It becomes something you build, something you embody, something that shows up in how you speak, move, lead, and live. That inner voice trying to hold you back only has one strategy: repeat the old. It loops the same doubts, the same fears, the same limitations you've already outgrown. But when you act like you are the best, you no longer negotiate with that voice. You don't argue with it. You rise above it. Because you've chosen a new standard, and that standard is non-negotiable. It doesn't bend to mood. It doesn't break under pressure. It doesn't disappear when things get hard. It holds. It leads. It becomes the foundation for everything you do. You walk into your day differently when your standard is higher than your circumstance. You stop being reactive. You stop waiting for conditions to improve before you rise. You are the improvement. You are the shift. You are the reason things change. That's what acting like the best really means. Becoming the cause, not the effect. You stop chasing momentum. You become it. And when you become momentum, nothing can stop you. Delays don't discourage you. Setbacks don't derail you. Doubt doesn't disqualify you. Because you've already decided, this is who I am, and this is how I move. There is nothing more powerful than that kind of internal alignment. It's not about pretending to be perfect. It's about choosing to be powerful. It's about meeting every moment with presence, with purpose, with the decision to keep rising regardless of what stands in your way. You don't wait to be crowned the best. You crown yourself through how you show up. You declare your value through your effort, your energy, your persistence. Every action becomes a signal to the world. I am not here to play small. I am here to lead, to rise, to build, to conquer. You no longer seek permission. You no longer wait to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. And from that choice comes power. From that power comes movement. And from that movement comes results. You don't get what you want by hoping. You get it by showing up as if it's already yours. Not in ego, but in certainty. Not in arrogance, but in alignment. You are not preparing to become the best. You are already walking in it. And the world is starting to notice. Keep walking. Keep choosing. Keep rising. The best is no longer a goal. It's your identity. There comes a moment when you stop trying to convince the world of your worth and simply start living like it's undeniable. That moment is everything. It's the shift that turns hesitation into power, silence into certainty, doubt into dominance. It's the inner breakthrough where you stop needing external validation because you've found something deeper, an unshakable belief in who you are becoming. When you act as if no one is better than you, it's not about comparison. It's about eliminating competition in your mind by elevating your standards so high that only your highest self can meet them. That's when you become untouchable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're aligned. The greatest force you have is your decision to rise without waiting to feel confident, without waiting for proof, without waiting for applause. You do not move because the path is clear. You move because you've decided you belong on it. That decision changes everything. It rewrites the story. It puts your fears in the back seat. It reclaims the power you once gave away through hesitation. There is no one else to become. You are it. You always have been. Now you act like it. You speak like it. You carry yourself with the presence of someone who has already arrived, even while you're still climbing. The world reflects back what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're behind, you'll always feel like you're chasing. If you believe you're not ready, opportunities will pass you by. But if you believe that no one is better than you, your energy shifts. Your tone changes. Your habits sharpen. You begin to attract instead of chase. You start standing out without trying. Because people can feel when someone knows who they are, not someone pretending, someone owning. That's the difference. That's what separates leaders from followers. That's what pushes the best to the front. You are no longer here to participate in your own delay. You are not here to shrink, to hesitate, to water yourself down so others feel comfortable. You are here to rise, to dominate your space, to create impact through bold, focused, committed action. You're not just here to be seen. You're here to be undeniable. And that happens through repetition, through showing up like the best every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Because when the identity is locked in, the discipline becomes automatic, the effort becomes non-negotiable, the growth becomes inevitable. This is not a performance. This is a decision. You don't need to fake confidence. You need to embody power. You don't wait to see results before you believe. You believe until results are forced to show up. You're not hoping to become the best someday. You've already started acting like it today. That's why everything is shifting. That's why you can feel the momentum building. Keep going. You are no longer becoming. You are already being. Walk in it fully, without apology, without pause. The world adjusts to the energy you lead with. Lead with greatness. You don't need the world to believe in you before you rise. You don't need the recognition. You don't need the audience. You don't need the spotlight. What you need is a decision that your life will no longer reflect fear, that you will no longer operate beneath your capacity, that the gap between your potential and your reality will close, because you refuse to let doubt write your story. Every day you act like you are the best. You are proving that belief doesn't begin with evidence. It begins with intention. It begins with identity. And when that identity is chosen with conviction, nothing external can stop the momentum it creates. You already have the power. Not in some distant future, not when you achieve more, not when you finally feel ready. Now, because the truth is, the world doesn't shape you. You shape the world through how you show up in it, through how you think, how you walk, how you speak, how you choose. You are not a victim of conditions. You are the creator of your climate. You can walk into a room and change the energy without saying a word. That is what happens when your inner world is no longer seeking permission from the outside. That is what happens when you realize your power is not given. It's activated. There is a switch inside you, and that switch flips the moment you say, I'm done waiting. I'm done doubting. I'm done settling for a fraction of what I was made for. From that moment, you start showing up like the best, not to impress, not to compete, but to claim, because the best don't need to prove anything. They move with clarity. They move with quiet intensity. They don't ask if they're ready. They declare that they've arrived, then let their consistency speak louder than words ever could. You can't fake that energy. You can't manufacture it with hype. It only comes from one place, decision backed by action. Every time you choose to show up with purpose, every time you decide to train your mind, to protect your energy, to discipline your habits, to elevate your thinking, you're stepping deeper into that identity. And that identity starts rewriting everything. It changes what you tolerate. It changes who you surround yourself with. It changes what you say yes to, what you say no to, and what you will no longer make excuses for. The only difference between the person who rises and the one who stays stuck is ownership. Owning your power, owning your responsibility, owning your worth. You have everything it takes, but it will only come alive when you stop waiting and start walking like it's already yours. You don't chase success when you believe you are the best. You attract it by being consistent, intentional, and immovable. Don't wait for life to give you permission. Give yourself the green light. You're not stepping into greatness. You are greatness in motion. Keep moving. There is no more room for hesitation. No space left for shrinking. The version of you who waits, who second guesses, who looks around for approval, that version has expired. You have arrived at the edge of your comfort zone, and the only way forward is through the fire of decision, the fire of full belief. When you act as if you are the best, you don't wait to feel confident. You behave like confidence is the only language you know. You don't seek approval. You move like someone who already knows they belong in every room they enter. That energy cannot be ignored. It demands attention, not by force, but by presence. You carry yourself differently when you know you are the storm, not the one trying to survive it. Your environment will start to respond to your new frequency. People will see the shift even before they understand it. Doors will open because your energy knocks louder than your words. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through repetition, through relentless self-discipline, through mentally rehearsing the life you want until your nervous system stops rejecting it as unfamiliar. You condition yourself to rise. You teach your body, your mind, your identity to align with greatness. Every small decision adds weight to this identity. Every time you show up when it's hard, every time you refuse to retreat, every time you lean into the challenge, you are proving to yourself that this isn't an act. This is who you really are. You are no longer chasing the illusion of perfection. You are executing with power. Flaws and all, you move forward. You refine through action. You grow through pressure. You sharpen through resistance. That's how champions are built, not by waiting for the path to clear, but by walking like they own it. You step with purpose. You speak with conviction. You think with clarity. You do not shrink in the presence of excellence. You rise and match it. You don't avoid the mirror. You face it, and you decide who looks back. You don't play small to keep peace. You expand to create space for your full self. Everything changes the moment you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start declaring, "What if I fly higher than I ever imagined?" That's the shift. That's the fuel. That's where doubt dies and dominance begins. You don't need to be louder. You need to be stronger internally. Your power comes from what you do when no one is watching, from how you carry yourself when no one is clapping, from how you choose discipline over comfort again and again without applause. You're not becoming the best by accident. You're choosing it every single day with your habits, your thoughts, your decisions. When you lead yourself like the best, the world has no choice but to follow your example. Show up like it's already yours. Walk like the crown is invisible but undeniable. The stage is yours, not someday, now. Act like it. You will never rise above the level of your self-image. That's why acting as if you are the best isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You are aligning with your highest self, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every time you carry yourself with unshakable certainty, you are rewriting the script your mind has rehearsed for years. That old story, the one that said you weren't ready, weren't worthy, weren't enough, is a lie. A comfortable lie. And you are done living under its weight. You are stepping into a truth that demands more from you, but also gives more to you. It gives you power. It gives you purpose. It gives you the authority to shape your life with intention, not by default. You don't need to wait until you feel perfect. Perfection is a trap designed to keep you stuck. Progress is where power lives, and when you walk like you are already the best, you give yourself permission to progress faster, to fail faster, to learn faster. Because you're not afraid to look like a beginner. You understand that the best didn't start great. They became great by acting like it long before the world agreed. You don't need consensus. You need consistency. You need to show up to your life every day like it matters, like you matter. Like every step you take is building something unstoppable. Your thoughts are shaping your reality at this very moment. So, speak to yourself like someone who wins. Think like someone who cannot be broken. Stand like someone who knows they belong in every room they enter. The way you hold yourself when no one's watching is the clearest signal of who you believe you are. Build from there. Decide, right now, that you will no longer water down your presence to make others comfortable. Decide that you will be bold in your vision and unapologetic in your execution. Confidence isn't noise, it's clarity, it's grounded energy, it's calm, it's presence. When you act as if you're the best, you no longer need to convince anyone. You just walk it, own it, embody it. And the world responds not because you asked, but because you became. That version of you exists, and the only thing separating you from it is the daily decision to live like it's already true. No more shrinking. No more waiting. No more hoping someone gives you permission to shine. You are the standard now. You are the example. You are the one who breaks cycles, who shifts atmospheres, who elevates everything around them by refusing to settle. This mindset is not temporary. It is a lifestyle. It's not based on results. It creates them. It's not about pretending. It's about becoming. And you're doing it every time you refuse to let fear have the final word. You are not just acting as if you are the best. You are remembering that you always were. Now walk like it. Speak like it. Live like it. The real transformation begins when you no longer need evidence to believe in yourself. You become the evidence. You become the walking, breathing proof that belief shapes reality. This is not about delusion. It's about intention. When you act as if no one is better than you are not claiming superiority over others. You are claiming responsibility for your potential. You are declaring to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you are no longer available for doubt, for delay, or for playing small. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break through, and it all starts with how you show up for yourself every single day. There is no success without self-respect. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. When you walk with the energy of the best, you stop tolerating the things that drain you. You stop entertaining distractions. You no longer explain your value. You embody it. That power is magnetic. It doesn't ask for recognition. It doesn't seek validation. It simply exists, grounded in discipline, shaped by decisions, and protected by purpose. That is the level you are called to operate on. Not someday, now. People may question you, doubt you, underestimate you. Let them. That's not your problem. Your only job is to remain anchored in who you are becoming, to carry yourself with a posture of certainty so strong that even your silence speaks volumes. That inner knowing, that quiet confidence, is what separates the average from the extraordinary. You don't need to prove anything. You need to continue becoming everything. Acting as if you are the best is not arrogance. It's alignment with the best version of you, the one who refuses to break under pressure, the one who keeps showing up when it's inconvenient, the one who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't wait for motivation, who chooses to lead regardless of the noise. That version is already within you, not someday in the future. Right now, waiting to be activated. And it's not activated through external praise. It's activated through internal commitment, through the decision to rise, again and again, even when it would be easier to retreat. You have to want it more than you want comfort, more than you want approval, more than you want ease. That hunger is the difference. It's what drives you to prepare when others procrastinate. It's what keeps you focused when others fold. It's what sharpens you in silence so you can dominate in the spotlight. Your mindset is your weapon. Your discipline is your armor. Your belief is your power. So protect it, fuel it, build it until there is no room left for weakness. You are not here to compete. You are here to conquer. You are not playing to fit in. You are rising to stand out. You are not chasing confidence. You are becoming it. Every step forward confirms it. Every decision proves it. This is who you are now. Own it completely. Every time you doubt yourself, you are feeding a future you were never meant to live. Doubt isn't just a passing thought. It's a decision to give your power away. The way you think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you carry your presence in every moment. These are not minor details. These are the foundations of your reality. When you act as if no one is better than you, you cut through the noise of comparison, judgment, and insecurity. You rise above the need to measure up, and instead focus on mastering yourself. That's where everything changes. Not when the world sees you differently, but when you finally see yourself clearly. You were not born to shrink. You were not created to second-guess your value. Every single moment you choose to believe in your own greatness, you shift the direction of your life. You command a new frequency, one that doesn't beg for opportunity, but creates it. Confidence is not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose to embody. You decide to stand tall. You decide to speak with clarity. You decide to move with purpose. You choose to live like you've already earned your place. Because the truth is, you have. You've paid with your time. You've sacrificed your comfort. You've endured your silent battles. You've kept going when no one saw you, when no one clapped, when everything in you wanted to quit. So don't question now what you've already proven in the dark. Don't play small now when you've come this far in silence. This is your edge. This is your fire. And no one can take it from you unless you hand it over willingly. The world responds to energy. Not titles. Not talk. Energy. When you move with the belief that you are unstoppable, life meets you there. Doors open that once seemed sealed shut. People notice. Opportunities appear. But it all starts with the inner work, the unshakable mindset that refuses to bow to fear, to laziness, to mediocrity. You become the force. You become the standard. You become the one others watch, wondering how you do it. And the secret is simple. You no longer ask for permission. You act like the best. You train like the best. You prepare, execute, and lead like the best, because that's who you are. Everything you want is on the other side of your current habits, your current thoughts, your current limits. But you are not bound by them. You can rewrite your pattern. You can reset your standard. You can shift your identity starting now. There is no need to wait for permission, progress, or proof. You are the proof. You are the moment. And the more you believe it, the more undeniable it becomes. The world doesn't shape you. You shape the world by showing up as if you've already won. And when you do that consistently, it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world sees what you've known all along. If you want to rise, you must stop waiting for the world to validate you. No one is coming to hand you confidence. No one is showing up with a trophy that says, now you're ready. That moment doesn't exist. You either step into your power now or you never do. Acting as if you are the best isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It means you are done negotiating your potential. It means you've stopped arguing for your limitations. It means you've made the decision to embody the highest version of yourself before anyone else can recognize it. Because that's what leaders do, that's what winners do, that's what the greats do long before the world sees it. You cannot wait to feel ready. You cannot wait to feel fearless. You act, you move, you decide. That's how courage is built. That's how confidence grows. Action first. Emotion follows. When you walk like you belong, even when your knees shake, something inside you begins to shift. The mind rewires, the body adapts, and the person you were yesterday starts to fall behind. Doubt fades when it's not fed. Fear weakens when it's not followed. And suddenly, the space between who you are and who you could be begins to collapse. There is no transformation without discomfort. Growth demands a stretch. It requires you to move differently, think differently, show up differently. But you are not here to repeat the old version of yourself. You are not here to recycle the same self-doubt every day. You are here to evolve, and evolution begins with belief. Not belief in what the world says is realistic, not belief in what others think you're capable of, but belief in something greater inside you, a vision, a fire, a pull that won't let you stay small, silent, or safe anymore. You were built to lead, built to rise, built to walk into every room like your presence shifts the atmosphere. Because it does, and the moment you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, you take your power back. You give others permission to rise too. You show them what's possible. You don't do it by being louder. You do it by being certain, calm, intentional, unshakable. You become a storm of clarity in a world drowning in hesitation. This is your edge. This is your moment. No more waiting, no more overthinking, no more doubting if you deserve it. You don't need to earn your worth. You need to express it. You don't need to chase success. You need to embody it. The mindset, the discipline, the consistency, the energy, it's all in you, right now, waiting to be activated. And the only thing standing between you and that next level is the decision to start living like it's already yours. Because once you do, once you act as if no one is better than you, you'll realize no one ever was. Not in your mind, not in your heart, and certainly not in your purpose. There is a version of you that has already arrived, the one who walks with confidence, the one who speaks without hesitation, the one who leads without needing permission. That version is not a fantasy. It's not a distant dream. It's already alive within you, waiting for you to stop pretending you're less than you are. You don't need more time. You don't need more approval. You don't need more qualifications. You need to stop second-guessing the fire already burning inside you. Because the people who rise are not always the ones who are the most talented or the most gifted. They're the ones who choose to act like they belong, again and again, until the world has no choice but to believe it too. You have spent enough of your life holding back. You've played it safe. You've made yourself smaller to avoid judgment. You've toned down your ambition to fit in. But fitting in never brought you peace. Playing small never brought you fulfillment. The truth is that voice inside you, the one that tells you you're made for more, it's not lying. It's the most honest thing you'll ever hear. And every time you ignore it, you chip away at your power. You silence your own greatness. But not anymore. You are not here to live at half capacity. You are not here to apologize for being driven, focused, and relentless. The world does not need your humility if it comes at the cost of your potential. What the world needs is your fire, your energy, your presence. Because when you rise, you don't just change your life, you change the standard for everyone watching. You become proof that it's possible, that it's worth it. That fear doesn't win when purpose speaks louder. Acting as if you are the best is not about ego, it's about alignment. It's about stepping fully into the energy of who you were always meant to be, not waiting for evidence, not needing confirmation, but choosing daily to walk, talk, and think like someone who already knows they are unstoppable. Because when you do that long enough, the world starts to respond differently. Opportunities open, doors appear, people take notice, not because you begged for it, but because you embodied it. Your life bends to your identity, and your identity is built by what you tolerate, what you expect, and what you practice. If you keep practicing hesitation, you'll live a life of almosts. If you keep practicing belief, you'll become unstoppable. Every day is a rehearsal for the life you're building, and if you want to lead, then lead. If you want to win, then carry yourself like someone who wins. Not someday, now, today. Because the moment you decide to move like the best, think like the best, and expect like the best, you stop chasing greatness and start becoming it. This is how you rise. This is how you win. This is how you dominate your future, by owning it before anyone else sees it.